everybody, it's Kate Richburg. Welcome to Beadshop Live. It's Wednesday, April 9th. Here we go. Indeed, JP, here we go. Welcome, everybody. I'm trying to get some, let me see. Getting some, there we go. There she is. Everybody's, so many comments came rolling in so fast. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Great to have all of you all here. Ruth, I'm glad you like the new Starlight mix. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this, what my inspiration was. You may remember where I got the inspiration from, maybe not, but you'll remember when I talk about it. Yes, that's right, Margaret. And now from front, Sunny Frez, yes, it is me. Yes, it's great to see you folks, everybody. It's great to have you all here. So I had a lot of fun putting this mix together. Let me put it here. I do apologize. The board I'm working on is old. So old. I found Janice, you'll laugh at this. I found Miranda did, a velvet pad. On the back, it had an old Beadshop sticker, not one of the ones with the bars, with the skew bars, the barcodes, but one that had our old machine, and it said the Beadshop at the top. It was very, very funny. So yes, it was at the end of its life. It went on to its great reward. But here is the mix right here, and I've got it in this little bowl, and here it is in this tube right here. So you may remember when it might have been like the time before when I'm trying to think of which project she was doing, when Emily was here and she was talking about all of her seed beads or something like that, she showed us that beautiful crocheted rope that she made all in whites. Do you remember that? And underneath those white beads, she used threads that were different colors. So the piece, when she wore it, was all white. And the color came through the beads. There were whites that were transparent. I think she also had some that were like ivory and stuff in there. I just fell in love with it. I thought it was the most beautiful piece. I loved it, loved it. So I kind of filed that idea away in my head. And I thought, you know what? I want to make a bead mix that honors Emily. I shouldn't have called it Emily. It's what I should have done. But I called it Starlight because it's a really, summer nighttime skies, lots of stars, lots of stargazing, springtime, summer. So so I pulled these together. Now, 4 of these beads in this mix are beads that we don't carry. If you love them, we can probably add them. But when I was looking, I was like, wow, I need a few more, kind of transparent colors in the white scheme. So let me show you what I've got here. And then we will jump into the project. Let me also show you here just real quick before we go any further. I want to say a big thank you to all of you who follow us on social. All of our socials are Facebook, our Insta, our Pinterest. You can find us over on YouTube. Many of you watch us on YouTube. We have a great YouTube community. Lots of chat, lots of camaraderie, lots of beading brothers and sisters and persons over there. It's great. And please give us that like, subscribe, and notification. Hit that button so that when we go live or we upload new content, you always know what's going on with us. Also, you can find us all over the web at beadshop.com. And of course, if you have any questions, anything you need to ask us, hit us up over at info@beadshop.com. Okay, I've done that. This is only my first cup of coffee this morning, you guys. I was running around. So I got to mainline some of that caffeine into my system, but there's 2 shots of espresso in there, so I'm on a good roll. Let me take this off here and let's go to the mix. I love this. I didn't even think about this, Ruth. The birthstone for April is diamond. I guess I don't know a lot of April birthdays. There aren't a lot of April birthdays in our family. So it is perfect, isn't it? Oh, that's great. What a coincidence. I love it. Let's go ahead and highlight this screen and I'll show you the beads that are in it. So the beads that we carry, I'm going to jump over to the mix because I'm going to forget. I'm going to click on the Starlight Miyuki mix. Okay, so the beads that we carry, and let me see, where's my where are my tweezers? Well, I don't see them, so I'm going to use, whoops, I dropped them. I'm going to use pliers instead. That's what I'll do. So what I've got here, let me make sure that I'm in camera here, in camera range. There we go. I'm going to pull this out and make this a little smaller. Bear with me here, folks. Okay, and I think that's there. Great, and let me get back to my thing. Okay, perfect. So what we've got here in this mix is the ones that we carry are the 402F, the matte white, which is that one right there, which I love, and the white pearl Ceylon hex cut, which is this one. Okay, so I've got those 2 beads. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. It might not go as well, but let me see. Is that any better? Maybe. Yeah, that's better, I guess. Then these are mix exclusives. I have another cut. This is the crystal cut right there. That's what that one is. Crystal cut. Cut crystal AB is what it is. Then I've got the matte crystal, which I'm wild about. We need to add this bead if I love it so much. Then we have a white color lined. That's this one. And I'm going to put it to the side here so you can see it. Can you see that color line? It's a clear crystal with a white color line on the inside. And then we have just the regular transparent crystal, which is this one right here. Then I threw in this little bead. It's called a berry bead. It's kind of like a peanut. It's a little different. It is the crystal, just clear crystal berry bead. And I wanted something that added a little bit of texture, right? So these hex cuts have texture. These berry beads have some texture. And then there's just the rounds, regular 8/0 rounds. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Okay. So I wanted this to have kind of an overall interesting textural look to it. It's also super hard to photograph things on white. So apologies that the photo could probably be a little bit better for this one, but you get the idea, I'm hoping. And I'm hoping you like it. It is a limited edition, as most of these mixes that I've done are. So grab it while you can. It's really fun for summer. So then I started thinking about what I wanted to do with it. Okay. So what I did was, I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm using a deep dish to ladder, and it might be a little deep, but so here is the wrap that I'm using. It's not the best background, but hang on, take a look, stay there real quick. Thank you, Janice, for listing those. I appreciate. Let me see if we have, maybe I'll just get a piece of white paper. Oh, you know what? I have this thing that Janice sent, this like this canvas, yeah, that she sent us. Because I really want you to see the textures and stuff on here. So I'm going to kind of lay this out, what I've got so far, kind of like our project maps, okay? And this is a good time to take a screenshot right here. Okay, let me get in a little. I feel like my camera is a little off today too, along with everything else. There we go. That doesn't look too bad. So, oh, you may hear the jets flying over. Kind of loud. So what we've got here is I'm using the 1mm leather right here, and I'm using it in white. Though the 1mm leather in pearl, if you wanted something that had a shimmer to it, would also look good. I couldn't make up my mind, right? I also thought about doing this in black. Have the white beads, the black cord, and then pull a color out of it. So there's a lot of ways that you can play around with, with this kind of monochromatic, very neutral colorway. Oh, thank you, Janice, for saying. Janice sent me this. It is a canvas with white gesso on it. You can get them at packages of 5 at the craft store. I love it. Yeah, let me get a little closer here, JP. So let me zoom in and show you with this first section here. There we go. So what I did to start is, and I'm doing infinity stitch for this. So I used the check flower button. I wanted the button to be metal, but you could also give it a color and use a check glass button if you wanted, doesn't matter. But I pulled some Ceylon in fine, and I thought I would do the macrame sections with those. So this first section, what I did was I just macrame down and used teal for that. Then I did my infinity stitch, and I also thought about doing this, and I want to play around with it. I haven't had as much time with this project as I would have liked, but I used KO, right, for the infinity stitch. And these beads, since they're A-dots, you've got a lot of room in those bead holes. So if you wanted to make this a little more variegated, say, you could hold 2 strands of KO together. Okay? You could definitely do that. It would add kind of an interesting color play. But what I did here with this one, I used the dark purple for that first one. Okay. Then I came in and I did a long section. I just started to macrame, and I liked the way it looked, so I just kept going. Okay. Then I did a section on orange, and orange is not something that I use as often, but I love this sunny orange color in the KO. And I want you to see, let's look at this one. Let me go back just real quick here. In this section, I just kind of played around with what the different types of beads would look like together. So this was kind of my tester section, to be honest. I started this section that's right here. That is a clear, then a berry bead, then a clear. It's kind of hard to see, but can you see how it gives a little bit of texture? That berry bead kind of sticks out just a bit, right? and I flanked it with the clear crystal so they didn't all push together. So A dot, berry bead, A dot, then there's berry bead, A dot in the middle, berry bead on the end, and I continued on. Then I wanted to see how these white lined, look at those white lined beads, how cool those look. Those are there. Then I did a little section, again, kind of hard to see, but I flip-flopped the clear and the matte clear back and forth. Then I did a little section with the white lined, but I also did one little piece here with all the berry beads to see how they would sit together, and they sit nicely together. Then there are the cuts. Then there's a line of all the white, and I really love the cut clear crystal AB cuts together. So this was kind of my tester. I wanted to see how they all looked. And I thought for a minute that I might take it out and redo it, but I'm like, no, never. When I'm doing a sample for a broadcast, never take anything out, only go forward, right? So then I did that. Then I came in and I macrameed this. This is with teal in fine. Then this section, as I was showing you with the orange, is one of my favorites. It's kind of like a tangerine color, and it's hard to see, but if I turn it a little bit, I've alternated. There's a set of 4 in the clear, then there's a set of 4 in the matte clear, and they just go on from there. And when you see it in person, see there, if I kind of turn it just a little, you can see how they grade, how the difference really shows up. And it really looks great with the color. So I did that. Then I used a seashell in fine, and I just did a short section. And then I grabbed the rose KO, and I started to just do doubles. And I did just the plain whites, are kind of the pillars in between everything else. Okay. And so those are kind of 2s, right? Rows of 2. So I thought what I would do is, remember how we did our bracelet, our patterns, right? For our wraps. We did a pattern for this wrap that I'm wearing here. And we did a pattern for, what was this one? Did I write on it? This was year-end wrap. Okay, the pattern. I'm going to do a pattern for this spring sparkle wrap too, because I want to kind of go back and forth and stuff. So let me do just a little bit of a refresher and we'll make a pattern. Okay, so I really love these canvases, JP, as background. I'm going to get some more. You could also use it this way if you needed to hold your pieces in. It's really great. So I really appreciate you sending me that. It's really handy. Let me get a piece of copy paper and some, let me straighten this out though so it's not crooked on the broadcast. And let's make a template. Okay, so there's this. Hang on, I want to show you how I'm going to make this template. So bear with me here just a second while I get the right tool, which I think is here. I'm hoping. Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to use is, I have an older rotary cutter here that is going to help me do my strips. So let me hang on here. Let me zoom out. There we are. Let me drink the last bit of my coffee. Perfect. There we are. And let's make this pattern. Oh, over here on the side, there's a little sneak peek. I'm going to show you this at the end. You're just going to, I think you're going to love what I have cooking for you for the Great Bead Extravaganza. Let me tell you, it was a team effort to get all of this stuff together, but I think you're going to love it. So let me cut out some template papers for this. Okay. Let me get rid of this thread. And it's a good time to get yourselves a bunch of KO. I'm going to use some of this apple green. I also have this gold. Isn't that a pretty color palette? There's that tangerine. Here's the teal and the seashell. I also have this turquoise. I just pulled these out of my Ceylon box. And then I also have the chartreuse. I think I've got the chartreuse in regular. I think I'm going to put that on the end. Okay, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay, but I wanted to show you that all together. So let's make this template. Let me push those over there. So this is my rotary cutter, where I don't use this on fabric. I use it for paper and other things like that, right? So this wrap, for my templates, for my patterns on my other ones, I made them like with this wrap. This is the template for that. It's a little skinnier, right? It doesn't have to be the same thickness. This, I think, works for that. I don't want it too wide because I'm also going to use this to help me measure, right? So how wide? This is about 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me put it over there. Half. It's about 5/8 of an inch, I think, wide right here. So maybe I'll cut this template 1/2 an inch, so it's a little skinnier. Okay. So what I do to cut with the rotary cutter, just a little bit of a refresher. I'm going to come in, like this would be your fabric too, right? This would be fabric or paper or whatever. But I'm going to come in, I'm going to use my Omnigrid ruler. These are all linked in our Amazon store. So if you go to the homepage of beadshop.com, you'll see our Amazon store where we have our affiliate things that we don't carry. So if you order them through Amazon, it does earn us a little bit of a commission, and every little bit, as you know, every little bit helps for sure. So thank you so much for those of you who have been ordering from our Amazon store affiliate, but it's in there. Okay, so here's my 1/2 inch. That's what I'm going to do. So I line up the edge of the paper with the 1/2 inch here on the ruler, and then I just come in and whoops, I didn't cut that straight. And I follow right here. Okay, there we go. And I will neaten this up and we'll cut it one more time. So here's a good strip for my first piece of template. Let me go ahead and straighten out that edge. Sometimes I do that. So I'm lining up my paper here. You can't see here on the bottom of the grid. And I'm lining this up here so I get something that's straight-ish. And this isn't really fabric, it's just a template. So, but I do want it to be straight. Now, what I do to kind of go off instead of going off on this direction, I really kind of very carefully see how my finger, this index finger, is guiding this cutter, right? And I'm kind of pushing the cutter next to the paper. There we are. And it happens to the best of us. When I'm kind of cavalier about cutting quilt fabric or whatever, sometimes that happens. If it does, just straighten up the edge and you'll be good to go. I'm going to make a few of these so I have them, and I'll put them in the drawer so I've got them. But having a little, that moved, but it's okay. The paper's a little bit slippery. Having a few of these and making a little template, it was kind of fun to work from that template for sure. See how also I hold the ruler, I spread out my left hand here like this. The edge of what you're cutting is always pointing towards your non-dominant hand, and you just roll like a pizza cutter, just slice that down. Okay, let me make a couple more. And again, you want to be really careful. This blade is super sharp, so you want to keep your fingers out of the way. Here, I may have told you this story before. I was doing this, it was a show, my buddy Jennifer Perkins, she did a show on HGTV. It was called Craft Lab. And I was on there. I was making, I was cutting strips out of potato chip bags. And I was doing it, we were weaving, we were doing some kind of funky craft. And, you know, it's direct to tape. They tell you, do not stop. You know, they do it in one take. So I'm cutting, and they have several cameras on you. So I'm cutting, and I slice my finger on top of this with the rotary cutter. And I took my hand out of the shot, and I'm holding it like this, right? I'm holding this finger over that until they cut for the segment. And then I said, I cut my finger. Can somebody get me a Band-Aid? And so in the next shot, when you see me working, you see that they cut little tiny Band-Aids. So I have a little tiny Band-Aid here and a little tiny Band-Aid here, but you can see it right there. Oh gosh. So please, that's the only, knock wood, that's the only mishap I've had with a rotary cutter. But I'll tell you what, nothing like doing it on national TV, right? So here are my strips. So let's start by mapping the what I have here already. Okay, so let me get a little closer in here, and I also need my tape. And again, a big thank you to Emily for sharing that piece that she made, that beautiful white bead crochet. That was really the impetus for me putting this mix together. Emily did hers in some, I think, ivories and stuff too. Maybe we can have her do a mix of her own, and that would look really cool. And we can do a bead crochet or something like that, right? No, I didn't see it, Terry. With he smashed a mug a few weeks back, kept rolling with his hand under the desk. That's what we do, you know. That's what we do. We always, because it's live to tape. They tell you, your TV producer tells you, do not stop. So, yeah, you can tell. Once I filmed a whole broadcast of Beads, Baubles, and Jewels with Katie Hacker. I did a whole segment with an ocular migraine. Oh, I couldn't see for the life of me. I think it's the one where I'm doing the color episode. I could not see what I'm doing. So I haven't had the heart to ever watch it because I'm like, oof, that episode was probably horrible. But yeah, you just keep moving. You just keep going. Don't stop for the camera. So this is a little, I got some fluff under here, but you guys don't mind. I'm just going to keep going with it. So I'll just put this tape over, and I'm just going to cut this away. There we go. And then lengthwise, 4 wraps for me. Let me see if I can find my tape measure here in my, I've got a tape measure right here. If I'm going to do this, I might do this 5 wrap actually. So let me get my tape measure. And I'm going to wrap, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and that's 5. Now, your wrap, obviously you need a little more space, a little more width than this, right? A wrap bracelet doesn't fit this tightly. But if my wrist is about 7 inches or 6.5 inches for my wrist, and I'm going to do a 5 wrap, let's say 7 times 5 is 35 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the 5th wrap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus, I need a little bit extra for beads and stuff. So I'm going to say that this template needs to be about 37 inches. Okay, that's what I'm going to guess for me. I'll probably actually make it a little bit longer. But this here, I'm going to do 3 lengths of strip here. And this is the 2.5 or the 1/2 inch strip that I cut. And making a template for a wrap bracelet and then keeping it kind of, you know, to refer, I think it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun way to play around with, you know, placement and placing things. I really kind of liked working with it that way. So let me measure this out. I said 37 inches about, right? So this is not quite, because this is 8.5 by 11. So this is a little less than 33 inches. So let me give myself one more template here, one more length. Okay. And so I'm going to tape this in. Then I'll flip it over. And there we go. So let me get my tape measure here. And I'm going to just bring this all the way out to about 37 inches. Maybe I'll go just a hair longer. And that'll be that. So now let me write on here what this is for. Let me grab one of my pens here, one of my many, many pens. So if this is, what do I call this? Spring Sparkle, right? This is the Spring Sparkle Wrap. And today's date is the 9th. So 4/9, Spring Sparkle, and this is going to be a 5 wrap. About 35 inches. Okay. So, let me just lay this out with what I have already. Oh yeah, put the year. All right, JP. 25. Okay. So here, I'll turn it over and I'll just do here, we'll do a macrame. And then here, from here to here, infinity ladder. Three beads wide. Freeform. Okay. Then oh, happy birthday to you, Myra. That's awesome. That's why you know what the April birthstone is, huh? Then here to here, this is macrame. Macrame. This is fine Ceylon. Ceylon. I'm typing so much that my handwriting is atrocious now. I don't know if you folks have gotten that. And let me just measure. These are like 1-inch blocks. So this is 1, 2, 3. This is about 4 inches here. This is, I'm going to call it 4. It's a little shorter. 4 inches. Then we'll do this one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is about 4.5 inches. I'll call this right here. This is a 2 bead ladder. Um, 4.5, right? And then this is, I'm going to call that about 1/2 inch too. 1/2 inch of macrame. And then here's some more freeform laddering. So freeform ladder. This is all infinity stitch. I want to just make that note. And I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'll do 5 inches of this, right? So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be 5 inches. Okay. So now I can kind of play around with what else I want to do over here. Okay. So here, I don't have much more to go. I'm going to go here. So I think what I want to do is maybe another 4 inches of just like the plain macrame. Okay. To kind of call back to this. So let's map that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll go right there. 4 inches macrame. And I want to do the seashell. I could also do this in a Bollywood if I wanted with the, with the beads along the outside, but I think I want to keep it sleek. I want to do this, I think. And look at how cool how the white leather looks really nice through those stitches. Okay. So I want to make sure that I'm on target here. So that goes there, that would go there. I end that macrame there. So I still have a little bit to go. I still have all of this. So I've used 4 yards of the 1 millimeter. And this is, as I say, it's 1 millimeter leather. I liked the way the 1 millimeter looked. I looked at the 1.5 millimeter and I thought it was a little bit heavy. So I'm going to do like another maybe 5 inches or so. I want to do like a row of 4 beads going across. So I want to make it a little bit wider. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe 5, about 5 inches, I think, of 4 bead ladder. Then I'm going to do some macrame. I might macrame for, I don't know, maybe about 1 inch or so. Then I think what I'm going to do here at the end, so I've got this much left. I need for the end to finish about right here, because this is going to be like the button loop. This is going to be the loop, etc. About here. And this is where I can kind of add or take away the length on the end. But I've got this section right here. And what I think I'm going to do, and this takes a nod out of Janice's 5-stitch that she's going to be doing, I might do our herringbone with the seal-on, and I might do it holding 2 of the colors together, or I have this chartreuse in regular, which would look cool. I could do that herringbone here because it all stays kind of delicate, right? Like this. And then I could do that herringbone. Oh, well, I haven't used this one. Maybe I'll do this. This is the turquoise. That's what I'll do. Okay. I'll do the herringbone in this, in the turquoise. Fine. Okay. Then at the end, I think what I'll do you remember we've done this before on some different ones? Allie Morey used to do this a lot. We would come in, right? We'd have the macrame, and then we'd have the 2 sides of the cord right here that are coming out, right? And so what we would do is we would do half hitch knots so that it would make kind of a scallop on the ends. So we do that series of kind of like lark's heads, right? So that would not, so that the you could just, have the leather be open like this, but I think it would be fun to add a little bit more color. I could do that with the chartreuse, and then you bring it back around together with macrame, and then you just have the little tails here, right, with a couple of beads on them like that. Okay, so I think that would look cool. So the loop, this is going to be a macrame loop. And this right here will be herringbone. Okay. So, and maybe this is with the turquoise. I think that would look good. I could also, if I wanted the herringbone to be a little heavier, like I have Janice's 5-stitch here. Let me show you. She's done it on hers. This is coming up soon. I can't remember when I think it's coming up next month, maybe. Janice's 5-stitch. I'll give you a little bit of a preview here. But look at how gorgeous this is. Janice is such a good ladderer. Here's that herringbone, and she did it in multicolor. Let me show you. We'll be coming back to this when we do this, but look at, this is kind of Janice's reinterpretation of the 5-stitch project. It's so good. Look at how nice this looks. That's with the fine seal on there. So I think this would look nice. So I think I want to add it. I know, isn't this gorgeous? This is coming up. Janice's, it's coming up, but it's a gorgeous, I'll scoot it back here so you can see it. It's really a beautiful piece. And it's coming. We have it scheduled. We've got some new beads that we're launching for it and everything, but this is going to come out after the Great Bead Extravaganza. Janice, you should make more wrap bracelets. I mean, I do wrap bracelets and they're nice, but this is one of Janice's many fortes. And look at how she put it on this the nice canvas. I have to take a photo of it, so we'll see if I take it off. We're going to be doing a wrap bracelet at the retreat. My project for everyone is a wrap bracelet, and I may, JP, base it off of this amazing piece that you've done. maybe do some colors that kind of evoke San Juan Batista for it. Even perfect up to the end. Look at how Janice cut the ends of the piece so they form a taper, right? Look at that. Isn't that great? It's just really spectacular, right? It's just gorgeous. And thank you, Carolyn, for your kind words on that. So many of you emailed in on my Monday Musings email about being yourself. You know, and if you haven't gone back to read Monday's email, go read it. It was really, really, so many of you. Thank you. I read each and every one of your emails and tried to respond to each and every one of them. But in a nutshell, it's really like, don't let comparison be the thief of joy for you, right? So take in that beautiful inspiration, take it all in, and then forget it. Margaret sent me a really great email about it that I'm actually going to write something else on, because I think it's a great continuation of it. So thank you. This would make a great kit for sure. It's sometimes, though, if we just put up the ingredients, kits they take a lot of our person power over here, but we'll have a really good materials list for you. But yeah, it's going to be amazing. So thank you, Carolyn, for your kind words on that. And if you haven't read it, go back and read Monday's newsletter. I really appreciate those kind words. So let's take a look at where this is going to wrap. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of wrap this template around my wrist to see where everything kind of ends up. Obviously, friends, with beads, it's going to be a little bit longer, right? Or a little bit bigger. Okay, and it's going to need a little more room. I like to get a finger width underneath. And you can see here, I mean, I've added a little bit of, I was pretty generous with my length of, it was 35 plus I added about 3 inches. So, so what I'm going to do when I'm in this herringbone section, this last section, I'm going to keep trying it on, so I start the loop at exactly where I need it. So I think this really helps to help you measure it, right? Oh, thank you, friends. I really appreciate it. You know, sometimes with the newsletter, I just like to use it to connect. I know Janice has something that she's writing up as well that you'll see, when no pressure, JP, at all, but you'll see that in there. So, and if anybody has any ideas about what they'd like to see in the newsletter or something as a topic, please let me know. It's fun to share all of that stuff with you. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is, which section I think I'm going to go back to this 2 bead ladder. I'm here, right? That's my 3rd section. Let me see. Right here. There's the seal-on. There's that bead ladder. Here's this. So I want to start about right here doing the long seashell section. Okay, so this will allow me to kind of skip this part. I can come back in, fill in the laddering later, right? And JP, if you find them on Amazon, we can put them up on our Amazon site. So I'm going to use the clip here so I know when I'm going to finish this laddering. And I am going to do the laddering for the seashell, or the macrame for the seashell. So let me put my little template. I'm going to add it to my little group of wrap bracelet templates here. I'm keeping them all in kind of a little clip like this. Very, very elegant right there. Okay. I'm going to put Janice's very safe up here. Oh, my mom's asking me about the shiny bracelet. Speaking of, I knew someone would spy it, right? This is an old school. I've been going through other projects. This is an old school project. And talking about kits, this is an old school project that we used to kit back in the day at Beadshop. And I think I want to do it again. This is with old school Swarovski 5301 4mm. And can you see how the color kind of ombres around? Remember this, Janice? Remember this one? I've had this for so long. This is done on soft touch beading wire. And I'd love to do this as a kit. Again, we can get the 5301 bicone in the check crystal. But it's really a fun one. It's a bangle. It kind of, slips on and off. It's kind of like a right angle weave, I think, is what it is. I actually didn't know it at the time. I was just kind of weaving it. It's really fun to make. So maybe we'll do that for the summer. Maybe we'll do this for the Great Bead Extravaganza summer. It would be really fun. We can also get some smaller beads. This is the 4mm bicone. We could do it with the 3mm or the 2mm bicone. It would look really, really beautiful. Yeah, JP, this is one that we did. We did a ton of these. It's really a fun project. And then it just kind of goes on. And I think it stacks really nicely with the Gatsby cuff, or the Gatsby bangle bracelet that I did here. And also, just as a reminder, we've got these surrounded and stuff all back in, so you can do, if you like this simple one. This, I think, would look really gorgeous. We've got a lot of this stitched leather. We have it, I think, in green and a bunch of cool colors. I think this bracelet would also stack really well with this Springtime Sparkle, Spring Sparkle, especially if we used a lighter color here, right? And a silver one of these, or whatever color, whatever you wanted. So let me put this back together here, and we'll start on that piece. Okay. So here's all I used a Sharps, a size 10, because I am doing the infinity stitch, and I like to infinity stitch with this size needle. I also have what I didn't put in the project listing, and I'll add it now. I thought a charm would be kind of cute. So this is the Be Still heart charm, but you could use any of our small charms, would look great on here. I just thought, why not? Let's add a charm onto that wrap. This is still one tube of beads. You get a lot of beads. So I think I'm going to have enough to do this whole bracelet with. These go a long way. This is still one tube, so I still have a ton of them. So I'm going to just put those to the side. Here's the tube right here. There's the little heart charm. I'll put it there, and I'll put this over to the side. Okay. Ooh, I can see on camera there's some beads that are getting away from me. Let me see if I can get those, because I know I'll probably want every single bead. There we go. The little triangles are really handy for getting all of these out. So if I'm going to start here, I'm going to skip this laddering portion for now. I can come back. I'm going to keep this needle attached over there. And we'll get that seashell macrame. I like this seashell Ceylon. It's really light, kind of a light peach color, or a blush color almost. I want, what am I doing? Maybe about a wingspan or so. I can always add more. Maybe I'll do maybe 1.5 yards. Let's see, that's 1 yard right there. I'm measuring this out. That is 1.5 yards. I've got about this much. That's good because I can always add if I need to. So let me go ahead and clip this. I'm going to tie this on here at about the place I want it to go, and then I'll set everything up. Okay. So here's this. I'm also going to come down when I finish this. I'm going to ladder, and I'm going to taper my laddering down like I did here. And then what I'll do to finish this off, I can either weave this thread back into this laddering section, or I can push it with the needle underneath this macrame section a few stitches or about 1 inch or so, and then pull it up and cut it away. So that's how I do that. Let me go ahead and macrame stitch this on. It's going to be a little funny because nothing is connected, but I just need to get the thread on here so I have a starting point. Okay, and then I can take that clip off. Let me make sure that this is right, which it is, and let me make sure that these ends are even, which they are. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to take this clip off. I'm going to bring this down here. And I'm going to cover this up with a little, I don't know, little baggie or something so it doesn't mark my, oh, I've got a Pro Polish pad here. I'll just use that. You could use a little piece of ultra suede, whatever it is you might have, so that my clamp doesn't mark. And I'll bring this around and I'll put it here. Thank you, Bonnie. I do love this embroidered bangle. I'm going to do another one with the Gatsby 2 mix that we have. This was really, I just love making these so much. I get asked for this Gatsby mix again and again. This has a lot of my old vintage beads in it, but someday I might try and recreate this. It's not going to be quite the same, but I'll do another Gatsby mix for you folks. There's still Gatsby 2 available. I made a ton of them because I was worried that I wouldn't have enough and I might have overmade. So they're still there. They're just waiting for you, though they are dwindling. So grab that Gatsby 2 to add to your stash. So what I've done here is I have this clamped here, this clamped here. And so now I'm just going to come in and I'm going to macrame. Okay. So we'll do this. And on our skill builders, we have great tips on how to macrame the different stitches. There we go. Super easy, right? You can check out those videos. We also have written product guides or written how-tos for it. Very easy to do. And again, I like the subtlety of this seashell color. It's just kind of a light blush. And I really like the contrast of the white cord underneath. Now, basically, you just keep, that's it for this. You just keep going and keep going and keep going until, I think, what did I say, about 4 inches of this. Let's get our template. Oh, I put it away. I don't know why I put it away. I have to refer to it. So here, I'm at 4-inch macrame seashell. So next is the 4 bead ladder right here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to end it up here, and then I'll start that 4 bead ladder, and I'll do that with another color of thread. Let me see if I can, how much time do I have? If my hands will work at Kate speed. Let's see if I can get this macrame. Now is a good time to ask some questions that maybe I can answer. Let me tell you a little bit about the weekend festivities. If you don't already know, many of you joined me yesterday for our little special guest preview with our buddy Francesca Watson from the Makery in Bulverde, Texas. She's our special guest on the Great Bead Extravaganza this weekend. She's doing beginning metalsmithing for beaders, and if you look, we still have some metalsmithing equipment. My favorite torch is in the Beadshop studio. We have that there, along with a few other metalsmithing supplies. That's where we keep them. I should pull them out and put them in their own space under tools. I don't think I've done that yet, though I might have, but I need to look. But if she's going to talk all about different butane torches and stuff, but my favorite butane torch is already listed on the website, so you can find it there. Also, we're doing our preview on Friday night. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and all of the participating, the usual 10 of us that are in the Great Bead Extravaganza, you'll see us kind of previewing our projects and talking about kits and doing things like that. Francesca will also be there. You'll hear from Francesca. And then on Saturday, my segment is at 10 a.m. Pacific, and then I'll be back on at 4 p.m. Pacific with Francesca for her segment, which will be fun. Several of you, friends, have emailed in about metalsmithing classes. And as you know, metalsmithing, I mean, everything is my first love, I feel like, but, you know, I've taught metalsmithing, and my books are also linked. We have one of my books here at Beadshop, and then the other, both of them are linked on our Amazon store. I am thinking about adding some metalsmithing classes to our repertoire here. They would be online Zoom classes. I think that would be a lot of fun. So we'll see. That's kind of floating around in the back of my head with all of the other things I have to do. So stay tuned for that. And let me know if you think that doing some simple metalsmithing. I urge you to join in this weekend and see what Francesca has to offer. She has a great group, a great metalsmithing group. She has a really vibrant online community, and we'll have links to all of that. But you can also look it up on the Makery. She's in Bulverde, Texas. So that's happening. And then on Sunday is the remainder of the Great Bead Extravaganza, and at the end of the whole show at 4 p.m. Pacific on Sunday, there will be an Ask Me Anything, an AMA session with some of the participants from the Great Bead, and you can ask anything that's bead related, things about trends, things about styles or product or whatever. It'll be a lot of fun. So we've got that going on there. Then on Friday's Free Tip Friday, I'm going to show you at the end of this broadcast. We've been working really hard behind the scenes on our project for it. It's going to focus on bead embroidery because I can't seem to get enough of it. And I've made 3 mixes, 3 sequin mixes, and little packets of sew-on rhinestones and flower crystals. I think you're going to love it. It was a lot of work, right? But I think you're going to like them. And we've got some new findings that we're launching for the bead embroidery, as well as we're going to be talking about more bead embroidery on this bangle and on the cuff. So it's going to be everything bead embroidery, including sequins. I have been sitting on these sequins for a while. So I'm excited to share them with you. We're going to get more sequins in, but you know, everything's limited time, resources, everything, but don't worry, stick with us. We'll be getting some other new things up. I'm so glad that you are embracing bead embroidery and embellishment as much as I am. No, that's 4 bead ladder. Here's the macrame, about another inch. Okay, I do have tambour, Bobby. I have tambour on my list. I have a tambour needle sitting here, a tambour stitch needle that I'm playing around with because tambour and sequins are so fun, and I really want to do, like when I did the beaded moth, I want to do some like tambour with sequins and stuff. So yeah, it's coming. I need a little more. Tambour is not as easy for me. I need a little more time. What I'm trying to say is I need a little more time with it to practice, so I won't make a complete fool of myself on camera with you folks. But tambour beadwork is really cool, and it's a fast and easy way to fill in spaces pretty quickly. So I'm working on that now. So you'll see it hopefully by the summer. Hopefully by the summer. Come on, that little one doesn't want to stay tight. I don't know why. Come on, pull tight. There we go. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun times. So, okay. I think I'm close. Then we'll start the 4. I want to go up to doing a 4 beads across ladder. I'm going to do like 2 more of these stitches, and then I want to show you how I'm going to add in my thread. I'm going to add in my thread right here for that. So tambour beadwork, Margaret, is like what you use what's called a tambour needle. I don't know if I have my tambour sitting here. I think it's with the stuff that I'm practicing with, but it's almost kind of like crocheting. You push your tambour needle through like a mesh, right? And you have your sequins or beads or whatever on the top. You push it through, you pull up a loop to capture it, put another bead on, push it through, pull up a loop to to anchor it. And so it's a fast way of laying beads down on a base. Usually it's some kind of mesh that you can see through, and you work from the top and the bottom. It's really cool. It's a very kind of couture beadwork technique that has a lot of possibilities. Okay, so here we are here. I am giving a talk. I'm actually giving a talk tomorrow morning at the San Joaquin Quilt Guild, if you can believe that. I'm doing a talk on bag making for the domestic sewing machine. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm doing that same talk again for our Fresno Fiber Arts Guild. I'm doing it next year. So if you are interested in hearing that talk, we have our signups, our big Fiber Guild signups are in May of this year. You can go to the Fresno Fiber Arts Guild website for more information on that. But it's going to be fun. So I'm very happy to chat for a little bit to the local quilt guild. Fun. So here we go. I'm going to just come in. I'm going to stitch. This is my KO that's been doubled. I'm going to use that apple green. I'm going to stitch it down here. Margaret, you should drive down and come. I'm also going to I'm doing a bag class for the guild, the quilt guild. And then I'm also doing a bag class, another bag class for my fiber guild. I'd like to do a class online for you folks for bag making. I know that people have also asked, and we have the technology. Teaching on Zoom is one of my strengths. So I just have to have a few more hours in the day to make it all happen. So see here how I've stitched underneath here like this. And I'm going to add a little bit of hypo cement here. I had it here. So that when I macrame, I'm going to macrame over the glue. Like so. This GS is about on its last leg, but right there. So I'm going to macrame down over that glue, and that will be the end of that. Okay. Let me see if I can. Oh, classes on soft soldering. Yeah, with the soldering iron, that what they call like Tiffany soldering and stuff. I used to do a class in my store at Beadissimo. It was a lot of fun. Picture pendants, and we'd make do that soft soldering for the picture pendants. That was really, really fun. And that's with a soldering iron. A little bit of a different thing than with a torch, different results and stuff, but a lot of fun. A lot of fun to do. It would be fun to be able to carry that stuff and do it. It's super gratifying. It was a really popular class that I did. You use like microscope slides, right? And sandwich two, whatever kind of little papers and photos and stuff in between. That was really, really fun to do. So let me clip this away like that. And I'm going to add now just another, and we could do that with like broken china and stuff. It's really fun to do. Someone email me that so I don't forget. Okay. Because it's not difficult. That type of soft soldering, or sometimes it's known as Tiffany soldering, or like stained glass, exactly the same. It's actually really easy and really gratifying to do. And you can just make a ton of pendants. You can use, like, as I say, broken pottery, or if you have, like, I broke one of my teapots a while back. And I saved the shards because it's one of my favorite things from when I was little. And I would love to kind of cut that up and make some pendants out of it, right? So it has some more life to it. Let me see. I think I might have one. So those of you who aren't sure what I'm talking about, here it is. This was a piece. It was in one of the books from Interweave. This was a book project. But this is what I'm talking about. This is a picture of my Grandma Lee, my dad's grandma. I made a picture pendant out of. There's Leona. I think that was her Fresno High School graduation photo. But see how we did a frame around it. And then it's on a pearl necklace like this. It was really, really fun to do. It was great. So that was fun to do. So I still have a lot of the stuff, and we could definitely carry it. So Dawn, you could, if you want to, send me that info. If they do wholesale, that would be great. We'll see. It was fun. I did boxes, did all kinds of stuff. I'm going to come in. This glue isn't quite dry, but I want to get these kind of out of my way. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to singe these with the glue and the singeing. They should be fine. And then this will dry a little bit. I would make sure that I would let this dry fully, though, if we were doing this in real time, right? But since this is demo time, I'm going to go a little further out, and then I can come back in and clean that up a little bit later, okay? It looks like this soft soldering really hit a nerve. I love it. Yeah, okay, well, let's make it happen. That'd be fun. Okay, so now see how my thread is attached there, and we're ready to ladder. Now, Janice is saying she likes to end her macrame thread by pulling it up at the top. And, you know, that's cool too. If you like doing that, great. I am a thread cutter. I just come in, I glue the heck out of it, and then I singe it. And then I push it in like that, and it's good to go, right? I'll do maybe another little bit more glue, but you do whatever works for you, okay? I am going to re-clip this so I have a little more working room, okay, like this. And we'll pull this down here. So I've got this. So if we want to do 4 beads across, okay, I'm going to get my white beads and I'm going to start with 1, and I'll just get around Rocal right there. I'm going to take these out of the thing there so I don't knock them over. And see, my thread is ready to go. Here's my apple green KO. And I'm just going to come in, I'm going to put on my 8/0. I'm going to go through my cord here, nestle that bead in between like that, shove it kind of tight up at the top. Okay, I'm going to come down. Whoops, that's not the right. There we go. Sorry, I opened another window here. There we go. And so now I'm going to come back. This is under. I'm going to go over and under this infinity stitch. And I'm going to go back through one more time to lock in this bead. Okay. And down. And over. Okay. Now I will drop down. There we go. I'm going to add 2 beads. Oh, and Janice, thanks for putting that on there. Your show for that bracelet is April 30th. Great. So now I'm going to put on 2 beads. I'm just going to taper up till we get to 4. And you can mix these up. You can color, well, you wouldn't really color block, but you'd block with the different finishes. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I'm just going to let it evolve. Right? So there's that. We'll put that in. Let me get 3 now. I think I'll use 3 of these cut beads. And I think what I'm going to do for this section, I know I'm lining these up, but maybe I should just pebble this and not worry about it too much. Let's get my 3 in there, and then let's see how 4 look going across. Right, push that up, kind of coax it to where it goes. Fix out the threads. There we go. So now I'm going to add 4. Let me just do 4 kind of random. So here is this rocal, that cut, that rocal, that cut. Let's see what that looks like, because I also want to get those little berry beads in here too. So, and these are all 8/0 seed beads. These are all from the Starlight mix. And there's 6 different beads in there. 3 8/0 rocals, the rounds, 2 8/0 hex, and 1 berry bead, which kind of looks like a peanut, right? It's bulbous on both sides, and it has the hole through the center. So there's the 4. I can see in the camera how this is a little, that doesn't look too bad. There's a little bit of space in there. So maybe I'll kind of push it up, but I don't want to make it too tight, right? Because I don't want this to buckle when it comes off of the, the thing. So I'm just going to keep going. So let me get a few of these. Let me do a couple more rows, and then we'll take a look, and then I'll show you some stuff for Friday, and then we'll call it a day. Okay. So I put on a couple of those little berry beads. Let's see how those look across. They kind of lock in together like that. Adds a little texture, which is kind of what I like. And you can see with the clear beads, even with the frosted beads, how that color is starting to come through and show. 1, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, just pebble, I think, is what I'm going to do with this. But again, you could color or block with the different finishes and stuff like I did with the one that has the tangerine color. So see here, when I put the berry beads in like this, right, you kind of want to let them just kind of sit. One kind of goes this way and one kind of goes this way. So however that works. Okay. But just keep going. I like the way that this green looks through the piece. Let me do one more, and then we'll take it off. And then we'll call it a day. I think this looks nice. And again, use colors that you like. Use the, this white would look really good against a color contrast, right? You could use even use one of those blue metallic leathers and then a blue cord to stitch, right? You could do all that too. So play around. I really think it's interesting to have kind of like this monochromatic white palette and then have the color shift be all the materials right around it. So I think that's fun. I think that's fun to experiment. And again, a big thank you to Emily for planting that seed. We'll have to have Emily do a version of her mix, a clear mix for that, right? That would be cool. So let me zoom back here. Let's take this all off and we can kind of see where we are with this. So again, I've got some places to fill in, and I'll bring this back so we can take a look at how we would do the closure, but see how that green and stuff is coming together nicely. This macrame is looking good together, but I think particularly that wide section with, let me get a little, there we go. See how nice that's looking. So I think a 5 wrap with all of this that's stacked up, I think this is going to look pretty cool. Okay. Let me give you a quick sneak peek. I showed you, I told you that I would give you a sneak peek. We've got some 22-gram bags of these special mixes that I made. These are going to drop on Friday. I was going to put them in tubes, but they actually fit much nicer into these bags. So this is the same amount that would come in a tube like this. We've got 3 different colorways. We've got some sequin bags that are going to go with these in 3 different colorways as well. These are all going to be sold individually, so you can kind of mix and match. I have some rhinestones that go with these and little sew-on crystals. And then we've got some new bezels and things like that we're going to play around with. So it's going to be all bead embroidery all the time. It's going to be, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. It's going to be a lot of fun. So you'll see those drop on Friday. I've got a lot of work to do before then, but I will get them all done. So that's going to be on Free Tip Friday. Those will drop. I'll see you Friday evening for the great bead extravaganza preview night. I'm looking for that. There's the schedule. You can see that there. You can go right over to the Great Bead Extravaganza on Facebook and grab the schedule for yourselves. What you'll also see over there as well is we have a great giveaway. All of the companies of the Great Bead Extravaganza put in gift certificates. You can win a great shopping spree. This time we're giving away 3 $150 shopping sprees. You get a gift certificate from each company or a coupon code from each company, and you can enter to win. So there will be 3 winners this time. So you can go over, find the graphic, put your email information in, and you'll be entered to win. So that's that. That's what's going on here. So thank you, folks, so much for joining me. The Starlight mix is a limited edition. So if you want one, grab it, because when it's gone, it's gone. It's going to drop. I'm going to put this, this stuff will drop at midnight on Friday. I'll put it in at the beginning of the day. I have a pretty good, amount of these. So it's not, I don't think it's going to sell out like in a couple hours, but it'll probably sell out on Friday. There might be some things left over on Saturday morning. But if you like this type of thing here, like these, the sequins, these mixes that are here, and I'll talk about it a little more on Friday, but I'd like to hear from you. These have some like really interesting check glass beads, some interesting things in here. So I think this is going to be perfect for bead embroidery. They were a little harder to source. The seed beads are Japanese, but we've got some check beads and stuff in there as well. So if you like them, let me know. This was kind of a complete experiment on our part, but I think it's going to be fun for the Great Bead Extravaganza Spring Fling. I agree, Cherie. I love the Spring Fling. You know, we do this Great Bead Extravaganza 4 times a year, right? We do it in January, the winter, we do a spring, we do a summer one, we do a fall. So there's 2 more after this. And it's so fun to bring this beading weekend to you folks. We really, really appreciate all of us in the Great Bead Extravaganza. You know, we are all small companies, small, right? And we've known each other for years. So your support and your likes and your shares for all of these small companies, we really, really appreciate you. So thank you so much. As always, I will put this banner where you can find us. So I love to hear your thoughts about things that you would like to see demoed. Of course, if you would like to see that soldering or ideas, don't hesitate. Shoot me an email over at info@beadshop.com. I can get back to you there. If you have questions about your order, questions about things, hit us up. Miranda's on the other side of the email. We send things over to Janice to answer, so we've got you covered. We try and check that email, my friends, during the week. Once in a while on the weekend, I can't stop Miranda from doing it. She'll check the emails, right? Or me, I know. But expect an answer during business hours during the week. If you send something in on the weekend, I promise you we'll get back to you first thing on Monday morning. So that's it. I am going to go get myself a luncheon coffee and I will see you folks on Friday for the Great Bead Extravaganza preview. I'm going to talk to you about all the mixes, everything that we're going to do. My project will be on Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific on all the usual Beadshop channels. And then I will be back on 4 p.m. on Saturday with Francesca for her metalsmith for beaders. So yeah, hit us up. Any questions, hit us up over at info@beadshop.com. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you Friday. Talk to you soon.